Peasant Productions presents the math of ESP. Why it works, even if you don't believe in it. Discussing the idea of going into space exploration, and believe me, I haven't even put these, finished getting, these videos up, and I hear, oh, that's nonsense. They can't work like that. I'm 60 years old, and when I was early teenager, I worked in an old folks home for a while. Every last one said, man, those good old days, we sure need them back. My people are now saying, people my age are now saying, man, we sure need those good old days. And because I read a lot of history, and I read a lot of journalistic stuff, and I read a lot of historic accounts, and do a lot of research, talk to a lot of people all over the place. It doesn't matter who you are, when you are, 99% of you are going to say, it was better yesterday than it is today. Part of that comes off of these religions that are walking around the planet right now claiming to own everything. They want you to believe that it was better before something made you a sinner, and you got to get back to that, that heaven, that special land just for your clan or whatever. It goes a long, long ways back. So you have this belief that, but I guess this would be a better way to put it. The number of times as an inventor I have been told that only big corporations can create stuff and make stuff, and only somebody with a high school degree or a college degree or a super university degree, or umpteen dozen years in the field, and all these thousands of professional connections can make something is incredible. I wouldn't know where to start with the number of times I've heard it. Now, the problem is that I can instantly lay all that to rest by simply saying, gee, which came first? The teacher or the university? The teacher did. The philosopher sat on a rock on a hill and taught somebody something. The archer taught somebody something. The dad or the mom learned a trick and taught their children something. So the invention came first. The corporations came afterwards. Oops. So you see, you don't need to be a big corporation. You don't need to be attached to anybody. Nikola Tesla probably said it best. You don't see a lot of inventions created by married men. Why? Totally sexist of me. The guy's too busy playing Sir Galahad, this knight in shining armor for the lady, and the lady is too busy being a princess with her knight in shining armor. You're having a wonderful time dealing with each other in the life around you. Chances are you're not out there looking for problems to solve. Okay? Let's face it. If life is peachy keen because you got the best best ass around. You got the best mate and friend and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't need to worry too much about creating stuff. You might still make some stuff. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying it can't be done. And Nikola Tesla didn't say that. He said he did not too many. I'm a single guy, solo logo, lone wolf. I've been this way most of my life. I work very long hours. I'm always pushing myself. My business, Vanderbilt Photography, is, literally going through its third year now with, just day-to-day scraping the barrel, keeping my shit going. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of philosophy of understanding where I'm at, what I'm dealing with. It takes a worldwide knowledge of what's going on because I'm operating business on a worldwide basis. I just got, tired of the local Mexicans here. They want a prostitute in my house to steal stuff. So they're calling me a faggot for not buying the prostitutes and not taking a woman into my house that can only speak Spanish and no English, so I wouldn't know what she was saying or what she was stealing or what she was doing anything for. Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to be the stupid gringo that can't understand that the only reason they want a woman in my house is so that somebody can get in there and see what they can steal. Their whole philosophy is that way. But needless to say, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I would like to have a woman, make no doubt about that, but if she doesn't speak English, she's got no talking points with me. I've got a broken enough body here that sex isn't any kind of selling point. So you're great in sex, so what? I don't have sex, I don't get to have sex very often. My last girlfriend walked out because I collapsed on the bed several times. It ain't pleasant seeing a person hit the ground and lay there for 5 minutes waiting to try and get their breath back because something twitched or broke or twisted. Yeah. So you think back on stuff. Who's going to be doing more? I am, because I'm working. I don't have time to waste being there. The big industry, the big corporation. They are maintaining supply lines, folks. They have stockholders they have to support, so they cannot go out on a limb just because they want to. I can decide, instead of selling on corner A, I'm going to go sell on corner B. And instantly pick myself up and move. Corporation? No. Apple Computers took, I believe it was about 8 to 10 years to move all of their basic operations out of the country. That means that if they were to turn around and move back into the United States, it would take 8 to 10 years for them to move all of the operations back into the United States. 8 years from now, Donald Trump ain't going to be president. He might be a dictator, but he ain't going to be president. Even if he gets reelected, he's already got 1 year down. 8 years from now, he'll have been out of office for a year. Bam, sorry. So when Apple gets here, Trump and all of his mouth ain't going to be nothing. Donny Boy's going to squash you more feces again. That's all. You get into space, and you have the reality that you have lots of room to do stuff. You have lots of variations to try stuff. You do have to depend on the other person being sane enough to not let all the air out of your little capsule. You do have to make certain people are intelligent. You do have to make certain that people understand what stuff is. You do have to make certain people are educated about what's around them. Most of the places you go nowadays, and let me look here real quick, make sure I'm doing good. Okay, yeah. Most of the places you go nowadays, computers, it became very advantageous to have you replace a whole board. Now you replace the whole computer. You replace the whole cell phone. Oops, something wrong with that. Throw it out, get a new one. Okay? One of the first things that space is going to teach you is that you don't do that. You utilize, recycle, rebuild, reformat, repurpose absolutely everything possible. Not because you don't have billions of miles of room to throw junk out the door, but when you throw junk out the door, you're making a target or for something to hit that you don't want to have hit it, or you're making a missile to hit something that you don't want going through one of your other satellites or your other starships or your other, lifeboats or whatever you've got up there. It doesn't matter. Okay? You start paying attention to what you're doing. Here on the planet, you have, for what? Probably 9,000 years, dumped as much sewage as you can into the rivers because it washes down to the oceans because you don't have to care about it because it went down deep. Deep sixing it, man. Throw it overboard. Yeah. How many countries still take their trash into the ocean and dump it? How many people still bury their trash everywhere? You don't recycle anything. You don't try to recycle. Most of the repurposing and recycling is done strictly for, giggles. PR. So space will teach you the logic of being a small environment. Your planet is a small environment. That's 7 billion of you. You have managed to completely destroy it and throw it out of balance. You need to learn to think, and governments and religions don't want you to. If you want to survive, you don't listen to the government. You don't listen to a religion. You can take those things into consideration if you want to sit down and pray, but if you want to survive and you want to live, you go out in the world and you find out how to think for yourself. There's a big whopping difference. And the International Space Station Phase 2 does promote thinking, doesn't it? Still lots of time left, oh well.